This is from An Ordinary Evening in New Haven, poems 18 to 20. It is the window that makes it difficult to say goodbye to the past and to live and to be in the present state of things as say to paint. In the present state of painting and not the state of 30 years ago. It is looking out of the window and walking in the street and seeing, as if the eyes were the present part of it, as if the ears heard any shocking sound, as if life and death were ever physical. The life and death of this carpenter depend on a fuchsia in a can of iridescences, of petals that will never be realized. Things not yet true which he perceives through truth, or things he does as he perceives the present, or things he does are carpenter's iridescences. Wooden, the model for astral apprentices, a city slapped up like the chest of tools, the eccentric exterior of which the clocks talk. The moon rose in the mind, and each thing there picked up its radial aspect in the night, prostrate below the singleness of its will, that which was public green turned private gray. At another time, the radial aspect came from a different source, but there was always one, a century in which everything was part of that century and of its aspect, a personage, a man who was the axis of his time, an image that begot its infantines, imaginary poles whose intelligence streamed over chaos, their civilities. What is the radial aspect of this place? This present colony of colonies, a sense in the changing sense of things, a figure like Ecclesiast, rugged and luminous, chance in the dark, a text that is an answer, although obscure. The imaginative transcripts were like clouds today, and the transcripts of feeling impossible to distinguish. The town was a residuum, a neuter shedding shapes in an absolute. Yet the transcripts of it, when it was blue, remain, and the shapes that it took in feeling, the persons that it became, the nameless, flitting characters, these actors still walk in a twilight muttering lines. It may be that they mingle clouds and men in the air, or a street, or about the corners of a man who sits thinking in the corners of a room. In this chamber, the pure sphere escapes the impure, because the thinker himself escapes, and yet to have evaded clouds and men leaves him a naked being with a naked will and everything to make. He may evade even his own will, and in his nakedness inhabit the hypnosis of that sphere.